At the base of the Ozark Mountains lies a small town, rich with history and architecture dating back to before the Civil War. Take a tour with us as we journey through historic downtown Ozark, Arkansas, and the buildings that define this small river town. Franklin County has gone through a series of courthouses throughout the years. The first county court proceeding was held in March of 1838.
First courthouse was an old school building. It was just a log building with no windows and no door. A doorway, but no door. And they met there for a while, and they thought about it, and then the town got to growing, the community got to growing, and people started being around. So they decided it was time to build a courthouse, and they built the first courthouse where we are now.
The first courthouse was completed during the 1839 through 1840 term of court. That was a small 20-foot frame structure and didn't last long before the town had grown to the point it needed a much larger courthouse. So the second courthouse was completed in 1851, yet did not serve its purpose long before the Civil War broke out. And according to Goodspeed Biographical and Historical Memoirs of Northwest Arkansas, the Franklin County Courthouse was occupied by federal troops as a fortification. Later, the Union soldiers deserted the courthouse and Confederate troops burned the building. In 1869, a third courthouse was authorized to be built using the original foundation from the previous courthouse. This courthouse was utilized until 1904, when Judge Mansfield successfully lobbied for a new courthouse. By August 1904, the existing courthouse had been demolished and the new foundation had been excavated. The new courthouse was an Italian Renaissance-inspired, two-story brick structure with an imposing clock tower and a shorter tower with an open arched arcade that was complete on July 7, 1905. Unfortunately, on Monday, January 10, 1944, this courthouse caught fire, completely destroying the second story and roof, yet causing little damage to the first floor.
You'll find in the picture of it in the Spectator of where the top of it caught fire and was burnt. And Buck Maynard, when he was county judge, he had it remodeled and rebuilt. And that's whenever we got the one tower instead of the two. We've been having court here ever since.
Due to the remodeling of the courthouse, the style of building changed from the original Italian Renaissance-inspired style to reflect the modern-style courthouses of the 1930s, yet also reflected the current Arkansas trend of that time period toward international simplicity. The Franklin County Courthouse here in Ozark, Arkansas is a landmark that has changed its appearance over time, yet it is still to this date the center foundation of the city downtown square. At the base of the Ozark Mountains lies a small town rich with history and architecture dating back over a century. Take a tour with us as we journey through historic downtown Ozark, Arkansas, the buildings and the people that made history here in this small river town. Located at 112 South 2nd Street on the east side of the courthouse is the Bristow Hotel. Back in 1909, when the Bristow Hotel was first built, they advertised themselves as a new stone building, fireproof, clean, up to date, and was only $1 a day.
I know the building was originally built, or at least the cornerstone shows a date of October 10th, 1909. So it's a little over 100 years old now, 105 years old. And it was built, it looks to me, probably at about the same time some of the other historic buildings in this area were built, maybe by the same craftspeople, I've been told.
At the time it was built, it was the finest hotel in Ozark. The Bristow Hotel remained open until the 1980s, when it was then turned into apartments. And at one point earlier in time, a portion of the original lobby was partitioned off for use as the local bus terminal. This was later used for a variety of other local businesses. Yet, when looking at the architecture, you can definitely imagine a time when this was an outstanding place for visitors to the area to stay the night.
So we're assuming that this functioning as a hotel, that the clients would come and check in probably the lobby downstairs here, and then as they came upstairs, and this the rooms were broken up where they had small rooms individual. All the walls in this one room have been taken out now, so it's just one big room. But in the unfinished portion back here, which has functioned as a nice workout center for us, you can actually see where the walls would have been. This would have been one room from here to here, with a window in it. So you can see the rooms would have been very small.
The Bristow Hotel remains reminiscent of a time when it was a busy hotel, full of visitors that came to Ozark from any number of places, eager to enjoy the picturesque landscape and scenery.
I don't know how the rooms were used downstairs, but I would suspect that it was similar to many other hotels today. They may have had like people that ran the hotel or owned the hotel would live in a separate apartment, and I suspect this might have been their quarters. There was or maybe a dining facility or something. There's pocket doors on this side of the room that were very popular back at that time period. And this is, of course, has all been redone and brought up to today's standards, but it gives you some idea of the possible living facilities of the people that would have lived back then.
The Bristow Hotel is a two-story vernacular-style commercial building that was built for a local man by the name of George Bristow. The Bristow Hotel is on the National Register of Historic Places and is significant to Ozark for its construction of locally quarried limestone with a rusticated ashlar finish. At the base of the Ozark Mountains lies a small town, rich with history and architecture dating back over a century. Take a tour with us as we journey through historic downtown Ozark, Arkansas, the buildings and the people that made history here in this small river town. The Ozark First United Methodist Church has a following that dates back to before the Civil War. Prior to the current architectural structure, the Methodists held service in a small frame church that they used up until the early 1900s. At this point in time, the Civil War had passed. The First United Methodist Church was growing here in Ozark, and its members felt it was time for a new church to be built.
This building was started in 1909. It took 2 years to build it. They were in a small frame church prior to this building, and they outgrew it. They had around 150 members in that one-room frame church, and that was during the time when there was a great revival going on across the country, and churches all over were expanding and growing in large numbers. Churches like this one were being built all across the Midwest and the South, between the Appalachians and the Rockies. The people banded together. They did a lot of chicken dinners and bake sales and individual contributions, and raised $13,500 to put this structure up. And if you look underneath the stained glass windows, you'll see inscriptions as to the different Sunday school classes and other people who raised the money for those windows.
Today, the Ozark First United Methodist Church is still going strong, and it is still as beautiful today as the day it was built. This remarkable and architecturally distinctive structure was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1992. With its crenellated towers, native-cut sandstone, and unique stained glass windows, this church is a landmark for all who pass through Ozark, Arkansas. At the base of the Ozark Mountains lies a small town advertised in the 1930s as the land of a million smiles and the playground of America. Take a tour with us as we journey through historic downtown Ozark, Arkansas, the buildings and the people that made history here in this small river town. The Whitman Building, currently located in Ozark's Eastside Park, is a building with significant history. Merle Whitman wanted to cater to the needs of the tourists that flocked to the area marked as the loveliest scenic spot in Arkansas. So he built this tourist cabin behind a gas station he owned. This unique vernacular-style cabin was rented to local tourists until June 25, 1934.
Franklin County was billed as the playground of America. So Mr. Whitman built this tourist cabin to accommodate the tourists that were going to come through. However, he only built this one, and he built it in 1933-34. And my parents got married in 1934, and this was their first home. They had their wedding reception here and moved right in.
This unique structure was purchased by the United States Army Corps of Engineers in the 1960s for the construction of the Jetted Taylor Lock and Dam. The building was later used by the Ozark Chamber of Commerce from 1976 until 1995. The Whitman Building is significant to Ozark's history because it is the only historic tourist cabin in Ozark crafted from local sandstone and fieldstone. This building is listed in the National Register of Historic Places under the multiple property listing of Arkansas Highway and Transportation Era Architecture, as well as Arkansas Highway History and Architecture from 1910 to 1965.